Hey, this is going to be the quick version of setting up SADX for speedrunning. I have the installation here in this folder here. I have the 2004 US EXE over here. You can find that in speedrun.com. And then I have the 2018 mod loader with mods. You can find that on speedrun.com as well, just in the resources section for SADX. So with the install folder, a couple things I need to do before I start anything else. I'm going to go to sound data and rename these folders just anything, doesn't really matter. Just anything that isn't what they currently are is totally fine. Next, I'm going to copy over the USEXE. This is the only one that will work with the mod loader. And then from here, I'm going to copy over the mod loader and open up SADX Mod Manager EXE. Ignore the smart thing or whatever it's called. Gonna not download this update, and I'm also not going to download this update. Once I'm in here, there's going to be some configuration on pretty much all of these screens. First thing you want to do, install the loader, and just turn on all these mods. In the longer version, I'll explain each of them and whether, you'll figure out, I guess, which ones you're comfortable using. I don't think the load order matters. So from here, code's nothing to turn on normally. And in here, 640 by 480, I don't really think that matters, but it's fine. Leave this screen pretty much the same. I usually just switch these to default. It's not really a big deal. In options, disable CD check and turn off any update checks. And in the config editor, this is the configuration for the game itself. Window mode and frame rate high. Clip level doesn't really matter. Most people will pick far or normal. Fog emulation. It's up to your own taste though. Sound, I turn off 3D sound. Again, it's up to your own taste, and you don't have to configure anything else in here. Close this out for a minute and go back. Within the zip, there's also this gamepad tool. You're going to want to open this up. Have your Xbox controller connected at this point, and create a new mapping. Basically, just follow each button. Skip the stick clicking buttons, though, and then basically just do everything else as normal. And then copy your mapping string. Go back to your game install folder, go to mods, then SADX input mod. Create a new text file called game controller db.txt and paste in the mapping string that you just made. And pretty much from here, you're good to go. Okay, I'm gonna try to be more brief than last time with this kind of setup guide for SADX. Basically, what I have here is just the full install of the game. I don't really run through the minimum or recommended. Basically, what those do is that they just take the files from the disk, but we're not going to use a disk anyways. I have it mounted right now, but it's not really going to matter in this case. But yeah, basically in here, no point in starting the game right now. You're not going to get it working like really well at all. Basically, there's the voice files in this game suck, and it's better to just remove them. I mean, if you want to play with them, that's up to you. But I find on my computer, which is not very good, it causes a lot of issues, and just mostly with stuttering and stuff like that. They're weird WMA files, and they're terrible. It's a shame, but yeah, there's really not a good solution to it as of yet. So first thing, you will find this on speedrun.com. It's the 2004 US like EXE. You'll need this in order to get the mod manager working. So basically what I do here is just copy over. It might take a bit, but yeah, that's the first step. And the second step is to just extract the mod loader here. It's going to take a little while, maybe, depending on your hard drive speed. I do recommend you play this game on an SSD. The faster the drive, the better it seems to run. It's not a super well optimized game. I don't really know how else to put it. It's really not coded very well at all. Even like with the latest mods, it's just it is never going to get fixed. So there's a 2018 mod loader with mods on speedrun.com, and basically there's a couple things in here. First is the SADX mod loader. You're going to want to copy all of these files and put them into just right into the root of your install folder. In this case, I've installed to the desktop. I do recommend you don't install to your game to the program files as well, because it's just going to be a nightmare to in terms of I don't know, getting permission set up and all that. So yeah, copy everything over from the mod manager folder, and yeah, it could give a message like that, but in this case, don't download these updates. This is just going to change everything and blow everything up. And don't do this either. Don't do mod updates at all. The mod versions that I have are pretty much correct. The only one you'll ever need to look for updates of is the Speedrun mod. So you can right click and check for updates whenever that happens. But yeah, basically in here, I just clicked install loader. Now it says uninstall loader, but basically this installs the mod loader onto the front of the game. Yeah, this is the 2018 mod loader. This is probably the oldest version that still works with this 2.51 input mod version. I use a Xbox controller to specifically a GameSir G7 SE, but it just is basically an Xbox controller. I use that with the input mod. That's kind of my recommended setup for this game. Just any Xbox controller or Xbox style controller, and the input mod here usually works the best. Basically, in terms of what mods we've chosen to use over the years, it's kind of how traditional speed running is kind of oh, the game has to be as is and all that. We said screw all that. It doesn't matter, because this game is just the game in its base form is not much fun to play. I'm jumping around all over the place, but 2018 mod loader, the rationale behind this is that it's stable to stay on an older version that just works. If we get the newest updates, there's a chance that speedrunners kind of become the test bed, and then if something goes wrong or there's a glitch, then the speedrunners get mad at the people currently trying to mod the game. And I don't really want to maintain that sort of relationship with the modders. So I think it's just best to stay on the old version. You do what you want. I think the newest version is allowed, and everything that comes with it. It's pretty lax, to be honest. And I'm guessing the only time that a mod loader version would ever not be allowed is if it becomes super unfair or something like that. But I don't anticipate that happening. Yeah, rationale for each mod here. 63 FPS limiter. On Windows 7, the game kind of runs between 58 and 62, 63 FPS. This is the full speed of the game. I don't know why it's not 60 like on every other console, besides Dreamcast, but for the 2004 PC version, this full speed is 63 FPS. There are 60 FPS limiters out there, but for me, 63 is just better because I learned on Windows 7, and that's just the speed that I know how to play the game at. Um, and basically, the version in here is a version that was just kind of put in the Discord at one point. I guess it's called like a good 63 FPS limiter. Basically, tries to improve thread allocation so that there's less stuttering and stuff like that. Um, Camera code error fix. This is a um, this is this is definitely a mod that's like not exact. This one kind of takes it away from definitely takes things away from as the game should be and kind of changes some behavior. So um, basically, after the 2004 PC version, the camera, like whenever you select free camera, it will like on like the Xbox or PlayStation or Steam version, um, it'll stick with the free camera, or sorry, whenever you select a camera, whenever you select free camera, it persists and it won't just switch back to auto cam whenever you switch your level. Um, this is kind of something that historically we've just used for so long that we kind of have to use it now. Um, I mean, do whatever you want, but most people will just use this. It's just something that people do within our community. Egg Hornet crash fix. I guess this just fixes a crash. It's not really much to describe there. The input mod. There's a couple of this might not work with your controller, but it should work with Xbox style controllers like X input or whatever. Um, I guess it might fix some D input controllers as well, but basically this kind of again it kind of moved away from how like the inputs are kind of by default um, processed and has changed everything over to use SDL and kind of I guess it has like custom gates and stuff like that, like just to make the game control better, be more fun to play, stuff like that. You can use the original D input um, controls here. I'll get to that config editor in a bit. You can use the original deep input controls if you really, really want to, but again, most people use it. It's honestly pretty awesome, so I would recommend it. The Speedrun mod, you don't have to have this turned on, but basically this kind of bundles together a few different things, and then it also has like a quick save reload. The camera code error fix, you can kind of just use that instead of this one. You can also do like you can start in free cam, so just switch to it immediately when you open up the game. You don't have to switch to auto at any point. Pretty, I don't know, it just saves a little bit of time. And then there's the quick save reload. This is, there's pre-made saves here. Usually how I use it is that I'll make a custom save and I'll provide the absolute file path. Don't do like something random or something relative or whatever. Like you should just do the absolute path and then it will always work. And then I have the in-game save number in the game already. And then basically if I, here it says save number 2. If I open up in the game Sonic DX02 or whatever, like this number 2 save file, then everything kind of just works fine. It's not like if I open that up as soon as the game starts, then I can just reset over and over again. Force reload, I would recommend turning this off. Basically, if you go to the main menu, older versions of the mod used to uh, just automatically reload the save. It didn't really matter whether you wanted to reload the save or not. Now this force reload is you can toggle it. So basically, if it's false, whenever you open up the game, if you want to reload the save, you just press the Y button. It's pretty slick. This stuff saves a lot of time when resetting. But if you're not comfortable using it, I would just turn it off and use the story saves. You can put 99 in there. So yeah. Um, the skip this one's recent. I mean, it's still in testing, obviously, but this mod basically kind of tries to provide some parity with cutscenes um, by making them not instantly skippable, but like skippable at the earliest possible moment that you can, as long as you hold the start button. This one is definitely the largest deviation from, like, I guess, traditional speedrunning where things have to be, uh, you know, normal or whatever. But what we found over time is that depending on the person's PC, depending on how good people are at mashing, because cutscenes suck in this game, and yeah, I don't know, like basically it's so uneven, and now like there's a lot of categories where people are actually concerned about cutscene skips and stuff like that. And sometimes it's like pretty tight to get the right frame and stuff like that. It's just degenerative competition to uh, have to reset on cutscenes that just are poorly programmed and terrible. So we made a mod to fix it. And this basically skips cutscenes at the earliest your PC decides it's allowed to. Um, so hopefully that makes things more fair. I mean, uh, like it's still in testing, but it is allowed on the boards. I guess we're accepting runs at this point. Um, so yeah, if you want to save that mod configuration, you just click the save button down there. I'm gonna go through the rest of the tabs here. Infinite lot. The only code that's in here now, because people decided that they wanted to use other codes, is infinite lives. Only use this for practice. It's super easy to catch, or practice or ILs. Super easy to catch in like like single segment runs. Impossible to catch in ILs. So we just kind of, it's not allowed situation. But yeah, totally fine to use in some situations, but really the only one that's going to be useful for people, starting out at all. Just don't use it in single segment runs. I think you might be able to use it for like category extensions or something like that too. I don't know. Depending on the category, I guess. So a couple things in this screen. This is the graphics screen. You want it to be in window mode. How do I get this to window mode? Oh, I know how to get. Yeah, it's later. Basically, you want this at 640, 480. I think this is all fine. This is all fine to keep. Basically, you want to have these two things on, or else the game hurts your eyes to look at, which is awesome. And then any of these are fine. I usually just keep it to the default stretch mode, but none of that's going to matter if you do like 640 by 480 resolution. I'm on a 1080p monitor, and I'll probably never switch. The game decides to run faster at 640 by 480 versus other resolutions. It's not that much of a difference, but you might get more stuttering as you increase your resolution. People play on whatever resolution they want, honestly. Like I've seen people play on 4K monitors, 16 by 9. 16 by 9 has different camera and different setups, but so I play on 4 by 3 just because it's like, safe, I guess. But 640 by 40, I know that's extreme. You don't have to. I think Nixer, the world record holder, he plays on 1152 by 864. I personally like 640 by 480 because my PC's like crap. So do what you want. Um, and yeah, that's it for the graphics screen. I keep this on default, but it doesn't really matter. You are allowed to scale to HUD, like the HUD as well. Not really a problem. In here, disabled CD check. Don't pause. I wouldn't pause when inactive. Basically, this means if you click out of the game, it will completely lock up lock up SADX, and that's not super good. Like it doesn't really, it's not good for like if you're trying to type in chat during a run or something like that. Updates, just don't even check these. There's really no point. You'll someday you might accidentally install all of the updates and then uh, you know, I mean, like it's not as supported, I guess. Um, and yeah, basically that's it for all the custom configuration in this mod manager. Um, and now we're going to go into the config editor for oh my God, I just looked at the time on the video. I'm not being brief. But yeah, this is the actual config editor for the game. Um, Window mode for screen mode, full screen just kind of looks like crap. You want the frame rate on high. Normal and low just aren't really allowed. There's an alternate frame rate leaderboard, but it's not super relevant. Fog emulation, you want it to be on emulation generally if you're like looking to be able to see things out of bounds. Basically, it kind of removes like fog, especially in like Final Egg Act 3 as Sonic. Clip level doesn't really matter. Depends on the speed run. For Tails, most runners like to use far. For Knuckles, some people like using near. It really doesn't matter. Just pick whatever works for the run. Enable 3D sound. You could turn it. I have it turned off. It doesn't really matter. Any of this just doesn't really matter that much. And then mouse and controller aren't super relevant at all. So at this point, you're not done yet. There's one more thing, and that came in the SADX mod loader with mods folder. There's a gamepad tool, and this one basically allows you to remap controllers using the basically using like an SDL2 thing. Oh my God, let me try that again. Since the input mod is using SDL2, uh, we can remap the controller. And for SADX, it's a good idea to do that because for some reason in the input mod they decided to put clicking the left stick as the E key, and pressing the E key in the PC version of SADX will put the camera right behind Sonic, and it's completely useless and actually crashes the game in some places. Again, this game is really well programmed. Clicking the right stick will do a slow walk. That matters a little bit less. But basically, once you have your X input controller connected, you can create a new mapping. And in here, basically, I'm going to keep all the buttons the same. You can change them if you want, but I think the biggest thing is that you don't like make digital inputs analog and vice versa. That's generally not allowed. It's not, I mean, yeah, I haven't really heard of anyone doing it. I don't know if it even worked for this game that well. So at this point, this button here, this is clicking the left stick. I'm going to skip that. I'm going to skip clicking the right stick as well and just move on and do the rest of it. And yeah, so basically this creates a mapping string, and what I do here is just copy the mapping string, and that saves it to your clipboard. I go back to my install folder, go to the mods folder, and make a new text file. This is within the SADX input mod folder. I think it's called game controller db.txt, and then I am just going to paste in the mapping file or the mapping string. So at this point, you're pretty much done. You can open up the game, and all should be pretty much